Lakeitha Ruffin, The Journey of No. The Journey of No. Lakeitha Ruffin.
Has anyone been a member or had a leadership role in an organization, maybe PTA or Toastmasters, only later to discover, oof, I do not want to do this anymore? Am I the only one? In 2018, I became a volunteer yoga instructor with a nonprofit organization teaching yoga to a disadvantaged demographic. I loved doing this work. I felt I was making an impact and creating a safe space for runaway teens in Portland during a traumatic time in their lives. The following year, in 2019, I joined the board of directors for that organization. And I was excited. I could give ideas on how to further impact communities. And I like the prestige of saying I am a board member. It took 4 months for me to realize I really don't want to be on the board. And another 4 months for me to submit my resignation letter. I took this journey from being a people pleaser to being a confident woman to say no to new invitations and new opportunities. But how am I to say no to something I once committed to and just lost that loving feeling for? How am I going to get on the other side of peace with this? I came up with 4 steps. The first thing I had to do was to become aware of my emotions surrounding being on the board, as well as my inaction of being a board member. I had to notice it. The second thing I had to do was to get quiet with those feelings and with the thoughts of knowing I really wasn't performing well as a board member. That was hard. And I realized during my quiet time that it wasn't fair to the other board members who were actually working to research new laws, working to fundraise, to help the organization. And I realized I felt my biggest impact was actually teaching yoga and not being behind the scenes. The third thing I had to do was accept those realizations and be okay with them. Everything isn't for everyone, and that's okay. A lot of times I want to try to trud through even though I don't like it, but why? The fourth thing I had to do was to make a decision. Am I going to stay in this, or am I gonna go out the door? Well, as you know, I resigned. And it was hard to come to that point because I gave a commitment and now I was going back on my word. And I was slightly embarrassed. It hadn't even been a full year. But I really wasn't benefiting the organization and I wasn't benefiting myself. But I had to come to this truth. We are only given one life. And in this life, where we have so many things saying you need to do this, we have to go to work, we have to have a clean home. In chances where we have voluntary duties, can we have things that excite us, things that we love to do, draw us out of bed? I want to fill my life with those things. I don't want to have a life where I dread doing the voluntary things or living to someone else's expectations. That doesn't bring me peace. And I realize that my journey to being a confident woman, being able to say no, is an evolution, because that's not the destination. I'm ever evolving. And so I have to continuously learn how to say no. My challenge to each and every one of you is to become aware of the emotions that you feel surrounding your voluntary duties. Get quiet with them. What do they mean for you? Acknowledge, accept it, and make a decision. Are you going to stay or are you going to go? You have one life. Make it worth your while. I wish you well on your journey of no. Madam Toastmaster.